Hi, this is John, and this is week 27 of Brave Eduardo's devlog. Man, that is such a mouthful. We might need to change the video name. But the controversial topic of this week is, if your friend, and let's make it hypothetical, if you have a friend that has no experience in game development, asking you if he should go into game development because he likes it, would you let him do it? Let us know in the comments below, and even if you don't comment, just think about it, because I actually think this is quite a philosophical question. So this week's topic is not how to deal with, because this isn't really an instructional video, it's more like my own experience. What do you do when your parents, your family, your friends, and all of them disagree with you choosing to become a game developer? And it's a topic that's very close to my heart, because I think throughout my past 8 years now of working on game development, this has been my single biggest source of stress. It's not how well your game is doing, it's actually my family and friends. I remember back then when I told my ex-girlfriend and my family that I wanted to do game development, they just laughed. Like, haha, no, it's okay. And I went to NYU, and I went into media culture communication with a focus in politics and business. And my goal was to come out and go to law school. I had a really, really good GPA. I did pretty well with logics and reasoning, and I took a lot of classes in public speech and persuasion. So it seems like that would be my next route. And I graduated with honor. I left with a really, really high GPA. And after graduating, my next step was going to take the LSAT, go to law school, and do all that stuff. But during that same time, I was also working on Never-Ending Night, our very first big game. It's our second game, but it's our very first big game. And I told my parents, I made a deal, is just let me finish this and let's see how well it does. And they did, so I'm really thankful for that. And Never-Ending Night did okay, didn't do that well, it didn't do well enough to make it, it's career-wise, I can't think of the word. It makes it so you can take game making as a career. So they started like, okay, you had your time, stop making games. But I just felt like I had so much experience after launching the very first big game on Steam and a Kickstarter as well. So I was like, no, come on, just let me do it one more time. And now they're really angry, because technically they should be angry. I broke the rule, or I broke the promise. But something inside me just told me that that's the right thing to do. And it probably isn't, but so I kept doing game design. I still studied LSAT a little bit, but most of the time I spent developing games. And that's when the real pressure starts, when you go downstairs for lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You just sit there in the super Asian family where they're saying, look at your friends, look at your brother, look at your sister, what are they doing, what are you doing? You're going to not make enough money, you're going to be behind, while when they reach success, you're going to still be trying to figure out what you're doing. Ideals don't, I'm trying to translate everything from Chinese. Ideals can't feed you. You can't reach dreams with ideals. You have to do blah blah blah. You have to do a lot of things. Look at you, you're not getting anything done, and all that stuff. And then I would do that. I'd go to lunch, I'll go to breakfast, they would say that. I go upstairs to work, come back down for lunch, they'll say all that, go back upstairs to work, and then it just goes on for a long time. And honestly, it was very, very stressful. And I have to say, I appreciate my ex-girlfriend for supporting me a little bit during that time. But anyhow, after Mirror Blade, thank goodness, we got ranked really, really high in a lot of countries, and we were also chosen as New Games We Love by Apple. So after that, my parents were like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. I didn't expect you to have it. And my mom actually later told me that it was kind of a test. I don't believe it, but she says she saw how hard I worked every single day, and I kept doing it while she kept on berating me. And she said that actually that conviction really, really persuaded her that maybe this is the thing I'm supposed to do. And later on, my grandma heard about my story when my parents were kind of complaining to her that what I'm doing. My grandma actually told them to lay off on John, because I think a big chunk of our family's I wouldn't say wealth, it's just how well we're doing right now is because of my grandpa and grandma and how successful and risk-taking they were. So my grandma told my parents that, you know, John's the only really the main grandson that's really taking this kind of big risk, and they told them to lay off on me and give me some space. And by that point my parents, and this is after Mirror Blade already, so my parents are already convinced that I have what it takes to make games. And so yeah, that's how I got out of the situation. And if you really think about it, I'm so privileged. We met people in conventions where they were saying, oh, if I didn't do a side job or if I didn't do something else, I would not have a place to stay or I would not have food to eat. And compared to them, I'm having it much easier. The only thing I get is mental pressure, mental stress from my parents. Dude, that's like nothing. So I think it's after, like, when you think about it, what you generally experience and have to endure to work on your dreams is there's always going to be someone who's having it much worse. And I know it's not a comparison, it's not a competition of who has it worse, but there's always a way to go around it. And I actually think dealing with problems like this with your families and your friends all disagreeing with your decision is part of the trial of making something new. We all seek validation, but most of the time people won't be able to see where you are seeing. And I think you have to really follow your voice if you really feel it, and never give up. I feel like consistency and doing something for a long time demands respect. People will respect you even if you do the stupid thing, and if you do it consistently over years, decades even, people will start respecting you no matter what you're doing. So keep on it. It's part of the trial of doing something good, and I want to cross my fingers saying that that is the key to success. And we're not there yet, but give us some time and we'll get there. So we'll see you next week. Bye.